All right, welcome to True Talk. Got my man Matt Casey with us today. How we doing, Matt?
Great, man.
Let's get you a little closer. There we go.
Yeah, there you go.
You're hanging, you're lounging back. Man. You're getting a little too comfortable. That's how you do it in the home, right? That's why you sell so much. Well, I appreciate you coming up, man.
Yeah, man.
Where are you coming up from?
I'm down in Miami.
Oh, okay. Man, you came on a cold day.
Yeah. I didn't even bring a jacket on.
Yeah. Dude, it was weird. It got warm for like a week, and then all of a sudden it's back to winter again. So who the hell knows? But that's Connecticut for you. So how long you been in Miami?
I just moved back to Miami about 8 months ago.
Got it.
Yeah, so I was living in Tennessee for about 7 years.
Okay.
And that's where we started business, and then before that I was in Florida, but I was in the Panhandle. So it had been over 20 years since I lived back in Miami.
You from that area originally?
That's where I'm from.
Oh, okay. Cool. I like being back.
High school. Yeah, it's great, man.
Yeah. Moved away after high school?
Yeah.
Yep. For what, work or?
No, college.
College.
And all that, and trying to figure out who the heck I am.
Got it. Where'd you go to school?
Well, so I went to Tallahassee, TCC, the community college there. Then I was going to go to Florida State, got my real estate license in between, sold 3 houses.
Yeah.
I was like, well, let's see how this goes.
Yeah.
And,
That's
It
funny.
went pretty good, and then I got into timeshare sales, and I never looked back.
Got it. What'd you originally go to college for? Like, what was your plan then?
I was going to go just into business administration,
Yeah.
general degree,
Got it. How'd you
I
get turned
enjoyed
on to
that.
real estate?
So my buddy was going through the course. He was like, dude, you should do it with me. I was like, why not? It was
Yeah.
summer, and I did it, and then I sold a couple houses and saw some checks, and I was like, oh, dude, I can do this for a little bit and see
Yeah.
what's up. And then I did that for a little while, and then I had something happen in my life, and then I got into timeshare because one of my best friends got me into it.
Got it. What year of school were you in when you left?
2 years.
2 years, yeah.
Yeah, I was about to transition over.
Got it. What were people around you saying? Were they like, dude, why are you leaving school? Or you getting pushed back?
Of course, especially at that age, right? Like that age,
Yeah.
It's interesting, It's interesting that 2019, it's like, that's a college town, Tallahassee, Florida.
Got it.
Like, the Florida State University is everything in Tallahassee. It's
Yeah.
the capital of Florida, but it's still the main hub there. So a lot of kids there, and they're all going to school. So like that's what you're supposed to do.
Right.
And I was still had all intentions of continuing forward and getting my bachelor's and all that. But
Yeah.
once I got that real estate license and started getting I got a couple deals. I was like, let me see if I.
Yeah. Like,
I
this
can
is
do
better than
this for a
school,
little
huh?
bit. Yeah, and plus, I did what I had to do for school, but it
Got
was just
it.
never my. It wasn't like I was dying to go to school. every
Right.
day.
What year did you get your real estate license?
I got that back in 2004.
Oh, okay. So market was still
2005.
good.
Yeah, it was still good.
Yeah. So were you in real estate when it all crashed and like
No, I was
09,
already in
or
timeshare
you
sales.
you were smart and you got out early.
I don't know if I was smart, bro.
Lucky?
No, yeah, I was kind of lucky, but
Yeah.
it was interesting during that 2008. That was interesting. I was still old enough to kind of know what was going on, but not
Yeah.
really know what's going on, not understand it like I would nowadays.
Right.
But I remember working for that company, and I was in timeshare sales, and I remember we had like over 100 agents or reps,
Mm-hmm.
representatives. And man, during that time, they were cleaning house. And,
Yeah.
they were lining people down the hallway, waiting to go into the director's office to find out if you had to bring your books or not, because they
Wow.
were firing over 50% of the staff,
Yeah.
because they had to tighten things.
Yeah,
up, right?
yeah.
So yeah. So anyways, I was one of the ones that didn't have to bring my books, and I got. To
Oh,
stick
so you lucked
around.
out, yeah.
So,
Yeah, that was an interesting time. I was in construction at the time, and we had all kinds of jobs, man. We were killing it. The next thing you know, guy I was working with was like, so this one fell through, and then that one fell through. We're talking like a few $1 million of contracts that just disappeared overnight. Like, okay, so this is going to be fun. And that's when I got into this business.
Yeah. And I was selling timeshare, so
Yeah.
exactly a necessity.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And
Now-
vacation.
Right. What attracted you to timeshares?
Okay, so that's a little bit longer of a story. I'll try and
Yep.
sum it up. But basically, I was doing general real estate, and I was dating this girl for a few years. And, she went to Florida State. She had just graduated. She moved down to Miami. I was going to move to Miami and go into commercial real estate. That was my idea.
Okay.
So I had a couple connections on possibly moving forward with that, since I was doing residential real estate, but I wanted to go into commercial in a big city like Miami. And she was originally from Miami area too. She graduated, she moved down there and got a head start on me. I had another deal or two that I was working on, so I had to stick around. Long story short, about 2 months into her moving down there, she was coming back from a bartending job on on South Beach, and she got in a car accident and passed away.
Oh wow, sorry.
So yeah, that was a while ago. That was in 2008. Wow. I was actually on the phone with her when that happened. So it was extremely, it was I was only 25, so it was a lot to process, right? And I was just really down and I didn't know what to do, and I went back down to Miami to spend, obviously for the funeral and all that, but spent some time with my parents and my brother, and
they were still in Florida.
Yeah, they were in Miami, and I remember sitting there, and I was sitting with my brother, and he brought some pizza over, and I was down. Yeah, it was just me and him talking, and I got a phone call from my best friend, Jared Vickers. He works with us now.
Okay.
He was like, "Hey, bro, how you doing? You doing all right?" Not really.
Right, right, yeah.
I think I was 2 weeks into it at this point. Wow. And he was like, "Hey, man, I know this is furthest thing from your mind." He was like, "But, dude," he's like, I'm doing this timeshare thing. You know that? Living here at the beach. He was in Destin, Florida. Yeah. He's like, "Bro, I miss hanging out with you. Why don't you come out here and I'll help you get you a job. I think you do great at it. We can get a house together. I don't have a ton of friends here right now because I've only been there for like a year." Okay. He was like, "Dude, I'd love to have my best friend here, blah, blah, blah." So I was like, "Bro, you're right. It's the furthest thing from my mind."
Yeah.
And I called him back a couple days later. And I was like, "Hey, dude, you still got that opportunity?" Because I didn't know what to do. So
you initially told him no.
I initially said no.
Yeah.
I initially said I just couldn't think of anything. I couldn't see what tomorrow brings, right?
Right.
So it was a really tough
time. That's a tragic thing to go through, especially being on the phone.
It was so tough.
And how long did you know her?
We were dating for about 2 years.
Wow.
So long enough to where, I thought that was my future.
Oh, man.
Young and in love and all
that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And she just graduated college, and I felt like I was going to do okay in commercial real estate.
Yeah.
Whole world in front of us, so.
Crazy.
Just crazy. Yeah. Crazy. I would never wish that on my worst enemy.
Yeah.
It was a really, really bad time. Fortunately, I had good family and stuff. But,
yeah. So you got this offer,
got
sat
the
on
offer,
it for a
went
couple
up to
days.
Destin. Yeah. So anyways, so I called him back a couple days later, and I was like, "Hey, dude, can you line that up for me?"
What made you call him back? How'd you get to that space?
I didn't know what I was going to do tomorrow.
Okay.
And I knew I didn't want to move back down to Miami and pursue our plan.
Yeah.
It didn't feel right. Not at that time, maybe years later it would have.
Sure.
But, I just didn't know what I was going to do with my life. So I just kind of looked at it as an olive branch, and I was like, man, let me explore it,
right. Like, what's the worst thing that can happen, right?
Yeah, I don't have any plans, so why not? So
no kids at this time,
no
right?
No kids. Just lost my girlfriend. Had my family, but that's mom and dad. They're doing their own thing, and then I got my brother. He was doing his own thing down in Miami, and I wanted to not be. I didn't want to bring not to say bring everybody down, but I didn't want everybody to be worried about me.
You didn't want to feel like a burden,
right. So I was just like, let me handle mine. And,
And
so I called him. I was like, "Hey, bro, can you line that up?" And he's like, "Yeah, man, hold on, I'll call." And then recruiter called me like 2 hours later. He's like, "Hey, man, we heard about this, that, and another. You want to come up?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll be up there." So I drove up to Destin from Miami and went in and interviewed, and I got the job. And next thing I knew, I was selling timeshare. I didn't grow up saying, "Hey, I want to be a timeshare sales rep." So you know what I'm saying? So,
no, that wasn't on your list.
No. It wasn't like, "Hey, I want to be a doctor."
Oh, you wanted to be an insurance agent. That's what it was.
Yeah, exactly. But I just didn't, I didn't know. But so I started hauling some tours in Destin, Florida. Got a place with him, and man, it was fun. That was crazy. It's over 15 years ago now.
Wow. What was that transition like? Like, was it very similar to real estate, or was there a lot you had to learn?
No, it was way different. Yeah. That's an aggressive sale. That's a bang sale.
Yeah.
People are coming in with no intentions of buying that product. Mm-hmm. They're actually coming in to get that gift.
Oh, okay.
So that's how marketing propositions people to come on a tour.
Got it.
Is they whatever the incentive is, pay for their time.
Yeah.
Which is rightfully so. They're on vacation. That's valuable time for those people.
Right.
So
what would the gift be? Like a day
a couple $100
Yeah.
or a couple day vacation in a resort or something like that. But they'd have to go and do their time and do their 2-hour presentation to get that incentive.
Okay.
And it was my job to take those people that were, "Hey, just so you know, we ain't buying nothing. We ain't buying nothing. You seem like a nice guy, but I'm telling you, I promise you, we ain't."
So you got them after someone already tried to pitch?
No. This is what they're telling me when I pick them up. I'm like, "Hey, I'm Matt.
God.
Hey, just so you know, I ain't doing that." So they're like, "Hey, nice to meet you too." You know what I mean? Like
wow.
that's timeshare, and as a sales rep, that's the entry level sales position.
Wow.
Is hauling tours, and and people are really defensive. They got their walls up, and
how long did it take you to get good at it?
I did pretty good pretty quick.
Yeah.
I remember I was 2 weeks into it, and I'd sold like 8 or 9 deals. Like I did sell a lot of, like, right out of the gate. It was
how
kind of
many
weird.
did you have to meet with to sell 8 or 9?
Well, that was abnormal results at that point,
Okay.
right? Like, I didn't even know what I was doing, honestly.
Got it.
I was just like...
beginner's luck or something.
Yeah, dude. I was just making a friend and having fun,
Yep.
I mean, I would be dancing down the hallways and stuff to the music and stuff. Like, I was just being as crazy as I could and as entertaining as I could, because I was like, well, I don't know nothing about sales,
right?
But I do know how I can make somebody laugh. So if they don't, if they
so
like me,
entertain them, maybe they'll buy.
They might buy, right? Like, and then I get the closer that comes over and actually works the deal and the numbers, right?
Okay.
I just got to get them to the point to where they're like, hey, we're interested to look at how much it costs.
Okay, so it was like a 2-part. You kind of got them
there was a
hooked
TO,
in, and then someone else closed it out.
Yeah, the takeover at the end. The
Got
manager
it.
would come in on the end and present the numbers and the deal and all that. So I would just get them to the position to where they would be comfortable with me and want to see it. And I remember I was 2 weeks into it, and my VP was doing a sales meeting, which a VP at that time was like, oh, my God, the VP. Like, can't touch that guy. Might as well be like some famous
don't
rapper
make eye
or
contact
something.
with
You know what I mean? Yeah, like,
as long as it's not Diddy, we're good.
And he grabbed him off the table. I had him sit at that table. He grabbed him and put him on his face and started walking around and pretending to be me. It was like, from Miami, Matt, just selling all these deals, like, brand new. And I was like, dude, am I doing, like, decent? I remember that stuck in my head. And it was tough. It wasn't tough, but it was tough learning how to do it. Now, once that initial excitement wore down, then I started to figure out if I was okay at it or not. I definitely had to progress in my salesmanship and all that.
What was the biggest thing you had to change about your sales presentation from real estate to timeshares?
Well, real estate was more of like a tour guide.
Got it. That
was just finding the right fit for the family.
Yeah.
And, I went through some training with Keller Williams, and they told you, hey, make sure that you put it in perspective for the prospective buyer, that they're not going to get 100% of the house. You need to be good at getting the client to understand that they're only going to get about 80%, 90% of the house that they have in their head. Mm-hmm. So the quicker you can get somebody to that point of accepting that they're not going to get 100% of everything they want in a house, but they can make a sacrifice for 1 or 2 things that's on their wish list, then you can start focusing on the inventory that you're going to share with that client. So that was I didn't have these sales skills from real estate. I wasn't like on Millionaire Listing or something like that. I was just a kid.
So you really learned how to sell when you were selling timeshare.
I learned how to sell in timeshare. Yeah, real estate did not teach me how to sell. That taught me how to find the right inventory, present it to the client, and hopefully they buy it.
Got it.
No urgency, none of that. None of the sales skills that I acquired in timeshare. Timeshare was a totally different beast.
Yeah. So how long did you sell timeshares for?
Well, I was with my previous company for 14 years. I sold in a sales rep position for about 5 or 6 of those years, and then I went into leadership.
Got it.
And
so were you the VP picking up the Versace glasses after that, or no?
I eventually did work my way up to that type. I was a director, so I was just under VP.
Got it.
When I resigned from that company.
Okay. Why'd you resign?
That's a very loaded question. Just a lot of personal reasons.
Yeah.
I wasn't spending as much time with my family. I had just had a kid.
Okay.
Within the last year, and it shifted my perspective.
Yep.
On what was important and what wasn't. In that company, I was working a lot, which is okay. But I felt like I didn't have any control over my life.
Got it.
And I just thought that I didn't feel fulfilled anymore. I wasn't excited to go to work. I was bored to death, to be honest. And
how long did you feel like
feeling.
That before you made a change?
That was for a few months.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, that was for a few months after that thing in 2020, which we're all familiar with.
Yep.
So.
Got it. So that kind of changed your industry.
The business model shifted.
Yeah.
I went from managing a site of nearly 90 sales reps, 10 managers, contract department, admin department. Operation was $25 million a year that I was managing and helping be profitable and running that sales organization. And then when the model shifted and I was, TO-ing tables again and responsible for about 12 people. And I just wasn't excited, man. And it was just the same thing over and over. And I didn't feel that challenged anymore. And I'd won a lot of accolades with that company, and I felt like I was doing a pretty good job, you know, maybe not the best in the world, but pretty good. And I was successful, and I just wasn't challenged anymore. So making the shift was just a personal choice that I wanted to bet on myself.
Yeah. And was that when you found us, or did you go somewhere else?
No. Yeah. I resigned from my company and came
Got it. How'd you find out about Family First Life?
So a guy that I used to sell timeshare with years and years ago, I mean, he might have been in my training class for timeshare. No, he was in the training class before me, I believe.
Yeah.
He reached out to me and he did the whole spiel, hey, you know, do you know anybody or deal, you know?
Yeah.
When he was really trying to recruit me, but I was like, I don't know anybody, and no, I'm not interested.
Got it.
You know, and then somebody else reached out to me, and they continued to kind of work on me over the course of a couple months.
Yeah.
And that thing was just sitting back in my head, and
this is while you were still.
I was still there. Yeah, I was still there. I was still there.
Was this during that period of you feeling like, God, you know, I want out, or was it before that?
I was already kind of there because I was feeling unfulfilled, but I was also paying the respect to all those years that I had put in. That was 14 years of my life.
Yeah.
So I was also paying respect to the leaders in the company and everything. They'd done a lot for me. So I didn't want to feel like I was being disrespectful because, you know, my integrity is important too. And I'd worked really hard for myself in that company. And I just, it was a weird feeling, man. But I don't know. There was something nagging in the back of my head, like, man, you can do more.
Was it like a gut feeling you knew it was
just something there in the back of my head, just like you could do more than this. You're being, I don't want to say underutilized, but in a way, like I didn't feel like I was living up to my potential, doing what I was doing, and ultimately that's a bad feeling, man.
Yeah.
You're feeling unfulfilled.
Right.
What's the point?
Right, you almost get into this, why even bother, right?
Why bother, right? So, like, I was at that point, and I was just like, you know what? I'm going to pull the rep cord, and I'm going to go for it. Like, it might be the worst decision of my life, but at least if I fail, at least I'll know I tried failing, which would be okay with me,
right?
Because my resume was already good enough at that point in timeshare sales to where I could have went and got another job.
Got it. So you know, if I tried this, it was horrible, I can't sell life insurance, whatever, I could always go back to timeshares. Not that you wanted
somebody was going to take me. Yeah, somebody, and it would have probably been my current, that employer.
Right.
Because I did get approached a couple times after I'd left, like, hey, you done yet? You done playing your games? You know what I mean? You done playing your silly little games? Yeah.
That's funny. No, it's been like 3 years, you ain't done yet.
Yeah, I don't get those calls anymore.
Yeah, that's funny. Did you leave like straight up, or did you kind of start with this part-time and work your way up?
I left straight up. I burned the ships, and I resigned.
What did they say? Because I mean, it probably did not exceed.
No, they weren't expecting it. Because
you
know, a lot of those guys were my good friends too, and they didn't know what I was thinking. But I remember I walked into one of my really good friends' office, VP, and I said, "Dude, I'm done."
Yeah.
He goes, "What do you mean you're done? You got to go home for the day?" Like, literally.
You feeling good? Yeah.
No, I said, like, I'm done. Like, I'm done doing this. Like, I'm unfulfilled. I'm miserable. I don't see my son. I don't see my wife. Like, this isn't fun anymore.
Right.
Oh, bro, what can we do to change your mind? You know, but you know, nothing against them, the company, nothing like that. It's just, I was just unfulfilled, man. And that's a very, very bad feeling.
Yeah.
To feel like that you're waking up every day for a pointless effort.
Right.
You know, and I wasn't impacting as many lives as I was at one point.
Got it.
Which that's I consider myself a servant leader.
Yeah.
And I felt like I wasn't able to live up to that servant mentality with what I was currently doing there. I didn't feel like I was helping people anymore. Yeah. Which was a really bad feeling for me.
You remember what it felt like leaving your boss's office?
Yeah. Liberating.
Really?
Yeah. Didn't know if I was going to win.
Right.
Again.
What'd your wife think?
She was supportive.
Yeah.
Yeah. The reason why I was able to do it is because she was so supportive and she believes in me.
Yeah.
And
that's awesome.
I thank her for that because, you know, ultimately, if I didn't have her support, then I'd probably still be there.
Yeah.
Which might have not been the worst thing in the world. Don't get me wrong. I was so grateful for it, but I wouldn't have went down this venture, you know, and without her, I wouldn't have been able to do it. And she's always supportive of me. She believes in me even when maybe I don't believe in myself, which is interesting.
Right.
And the funny thing about that is she quit her job 1 week later. And she,
Really?
Yeah, so
what was she doing?
She was like, I'm unhappy. I was like, well, quit yours too.
Yeah, why not? Join the club.
You know, we're either living to work or working to live. So, you know, I wanted to work to live.
Yeah.
Really, honestly.
What was your transition like in life insurance?
It was, so the sales part I got.
Okay.
And I understood that. So I just didn't know the products.
Okay.
And a totally different industry too. Don't get me
Oh,
wrong.
yeah, dude, yeah. It's
Totally different.
Yeah.
Like,
what did you even know about life insurance prior?
Nothing.
Did you even have a policy?
I remember I first got approached on Christmas. And I went out, and my mom and my dad were in town for Christmas. They just came up for a couple days, and my and I had just had that second phone call.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, they're trying to get me to open up a agency here in Tennessee because there's nothing out here. Blah, blah. And I remember my mom was like, oh no, honey. Like, what are you talking about? I was like, no, it's not something I'm gonna do. You know? But you know, I don't know. I mean, I think it was obviously something that made sense. You know?
Yeah.
So
how long did it take you? You said you picked it up pretty quick to where you felt comfortable and like, you know what, this was the right move.
Yeah. So getting back on that, sorry. So I don't know. I mean, when I first went into the field, I remember my first day of appointments. First, I remember my first dial day. That was interesting.
Yeah, how'd that
go? Pretty bad. Yeah. To give you an idea, it was me and two other people that had came on board with me to start the agency, right?
Oh, God.
I'm working out of my home office. I remember I catered in lunch and stuff for us on day one. Had this big old stack of, you know, client leads and stuff. And they were like, all right, let's dial through them. And I put a bunch of money on my credit card to get as many as possible. I was like, oh, we're going to kill it. We're going to fill up all our schedules. Bro, we go through it. Between the three of us, bro, we booked like 4 appointments on like 250 leads, right? Like, it was bad. And I didn't book any.
Really? Oh, so they booked the 4.
Yeah, they booked them. But we went and ran them together. Okay. All 3 of us.
All 3.
That's all we had.
Oh, God.
That's all we had. So we got it. We piled up in one of our cars. I think it was.
Did you help any of them?
Yeah. Wait, now the selling?
Yeah.
I was like, all right, you guys just shut up.
Yeah.
I'm going to do this part. Like, I know what I'm doing. Like, don't have an idea. I don't know what the hell I'm doing, right? I bring this notebook. I'm just like, I'm going to look the part. I got a tie on and stuff.
Oh, my
God. That's, you know, obviously that changed.
Yeah.
And I remember I sat down and I'm like, yeah, so I'm doing a full discovery. All right, so what do you need to, you know, I'm doing best I can. Like, but I'm basically taking what I know from timeshare and just doing a discovery to figure out how I can help this client.
Did you do any training here? Or you're just like, oh, I'm just going to do what I did there?
I'm going to roll, dude. I'm going to
Dude, you're the guy we talk about on here a lot who comes in with the sales experience and I know how to do this.
Yeah, dude, I'm not saying I knew everything. I was like, I got to figure out a sales process because I didn't know the sales process. I didn't know about the financial. Like, I didn't know any of that, right? Like, I was just trying to figure it out. I was like, I'm just going to have a business and I don't know how I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. That's the easiest way I can explain it to you.
Got it.
So I was like, all right, well, I got to figure out a sales process because I'm all sales process driven. I'm a trainer, developer. That's my background. And I was like, all right, let's figure out a sales process. First person I sat down with, we sold a policy. Did not know how to write the application. I mean, we stumbled our way through. I was like, hey, look at this. Just make sure, you know. I mean, the client's there, like, thinking that I know what I'm doing, and I'm filling out the application. I'm asking the person that, you know, this girl, I'm asking her, hey, where do I put in this? It was a train wreck. But we sold it got flipped to guaranteed issue. I mean, I just didn't know any difference. But yeah, we stumbled our way through it. But we started figuring it out, like, a little bit.
Yeah.
Each day got a little easier and easier. But yeah, that first day was fun, man. But when we got our first, I'll tell you this, when we booked our first appointment, dude, we celebrated like we had just won the World Series. Yeah. I mean, I'm serious. Like, because we had been dialing for like
how long did it take?
2 or 3 hours before this girl books the first one, and she books it, and we're like, she hangs up the phone. Okay, we'll see you at 4 o'clock. It's like we won the Super Bowl.
Popping champagne.
For a while. I mean, I'm pretty sure that appointment no-showed us too. I mean, it's something like that. But it was fun, man. I mean, those are fun stories because, you know, I mean, we started out in my home office. I remember I was like, let me catering some Zoe's Kitchen, get some chicken and stuff, show my appreciation. Got 250 leads. And we just,
Yeah. That's funny. So from that point, that, day one of a horror show, a little bit, how long did it take for you to get comfortable on the phone and in home?
Okay, so after a couple weeks on the phone.
Okay.
I thought that was the harder part.
Yeah.
I was not good over the phone.
What'd you struggle with the most?
Just get that objection, even something as simple as like, no, I won't be home.
Yeah.
Like, they have control on the phone, right? Unless you take control. So learning that concept, I understood how to take control when I was face-to-face with somebody in a sales situation. But as far as over the phone, that was all foreign. That was foreign to me.
Yeah.
So understanding how to hit the script fast enough and get their attention, but then not overkill it. Yeah. I remember our first script, we pieced together a couple different scripts instead of taking something that was proven, right? We're like, let's reinvent this.
Right, why not?
Like,
why not?
We know everything. Like,
that's
stupid. And I remember, man, my introduction would be like 5 miles long. I'm not even asking for the appointment. I'm like, so we're not going to change it. We'll change you to a desk or this. They're like, click,
Wow.
So I figured out that had to get a lot more condensed and get their attention real quick, get to it, book the appointment, and confirm it, tie it down, and get off. Wow. And that took me a couple weeks to figure that out.
Yeah.
So a good month, I would say, honestly.
Yeah.
Before I started able to start filling a schedule a little bit.
Got it.
That was my struggle, was on the phone.
Yeah.
Making appointments.
Yeah. And what's the most amount of families you've helped in a year?
Just right at 300.
Right at 300. Yeah. Got it. Which is great. You know, it's crazy going from that first day to that. Like, so you've been with us since 21, right? Have you had any death claims yet?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Is there one that sticks out to you?
Not one in particular. No, not one in particular. I don't have that one story where it's like, that family was. But I did have plenty where they were thanking me. Thank you so much for helping me.
Do you remember the first one?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah, and it was a really good feeling. Yeah, it was a really good feeling. Because the product that I was offering before wasn't something that somebody necessarily needed.
Right. Right. Yeah, if I don't get the timeshare, it's like, okay, I don't have this one vacation or something, but like it's not going to, what is your family going to do without this timeshare? The same thing we've been doing without it now.
Like, the days in, bro. I don't know. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, so like this was way different because this product serviced a family in a way in a time that unfortunately I'm familiar with.
Yeah.
So like that is a tough time.
Yeah.
Somebody that, I just lost my mom 8 months ago, unfortunately. I appreciate that, but I've been there with my dad, and losing a mom or a parent is different than the spouse. They were together for 44 years. Like that's a different scenario, right? Like so like I think about that when it comes to this product.
Got it.
And that's the most trying time in any family's history, really, right? Yeah. So, like, if we can provide just like an ounce of comfort with a product that we're offering, and sometimes these people don't even want it, but then you're like, hey, dude, you need it,
right?
And you pursue it, and you're persuasive because you believe in it. And then when it comes down to it, that time does happen, and it's there to give just an ounce of.
At least
comfort.
Take the financial stress out of it.
At least.
Right?
Because you're going to deal with everything else.
Absolutely. You can't change the fact that they passed away. You can't change how it happened, when it happened, the whole deal. But at least we can remove the financial stress. A lot of people get so caught up in that, they don't even have time to grieve until way after. Because they're so concerned with who's going to pay for this. And then, everything. The obituary costs a few $100. Like, and then they start, let's make it, a quarter page.
It's a racket. Man.
Yeah.
It's a racket. Going through that at the funeral home, it's like, oh, you want this, you want that. And it's like, bro, like, I'm not in the space. Like, I can imagine somebody that's been married to their partner and then they lose them. Like, and then you've got this person, like, I hate to say it like this, but like the blood hasn't even dried. Like, and you're just like, driving more is going to be this and that, or what package do you want? It's like, dude, we ain't ready for that. And then if you have financial trouble actually affording to do service to that person, like do justice to that person's, who they are, their integrity and all that, like to properly saying farewell. Like, I don't know, man, but it's nice to offer a product that makes that a little easier. So it does take the money out of it.
100%. How long were you with us when you got that first death claim?
Within a year.
Really? Yeah. What'd you think when you got that call?
I was like, oh, well, hopefully I did everything right.
Yeah.
No, obviously when I got the call from the client, I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like I felt like I was just there yesterday.
Right. Yeah, it's like the whole appointment almost comes back to you.
Yeah. No, I remembered it, and I was like, man, really? Like, really? But
did it change your outlook on what we do? I mean, I know you had. No,
I already had it. That was one thing that I had. I understood that we were offering a product that would help people. I understood that, and I already had it. Unfortunately, because of situations I'd already been through.
Yeah.
So I understood how hard it was to lose somebody. So if somebody hasn't been through something like that, then maybe they wouldn't grasp that concept as fast as I did, but I understood that right away.
Were any of your situations, was there life insurance or was there not? Like, what side of it were you on? With your spouse or your girlfriend or your parents?
So I don't know that situation. I wasn't involved in that decision making. Now I was involved in some things leading up to the funeral and all that, but like they spared me details as much as possible because it was really, really tough. Yeah, it was really, really tough, man.
Yeah. So I mean, just being in that situation, what you don't want to have to worry about.
No, yeah, I can only imagine. Because we, I mean, you help somebody get a product that really is gonna allow them to put their family member, where they rightfully should be, and how their wishes go up.
Exactly.
Right. So it's like money does not become the factor, and that's good.
Yeah.
Because that can hold people back from doing justice for their family.
Absolutely.
Member, So I think that's a really good feeling, and I try and make sure that people fully understand that when they come to work with us.
Absolutely. And that's why it's like this. We say this all the time on here. This business is not for everyone. Because you don't want someone in there that doesn't really care about people. Like, you had a genuine care for people prior to this, right? Where did that come from? Was it like ever since a child, or just?
No, I don't know where that came from. And it wasn't always like that. I was selfish.
Really?
As a kid, I was selfish. I mean, I knew it all. You know what I mean? Like, I had to figure out that I don't know it all through the course of life, but which was important, which grows you as an individual. But it's really hard, and I continued to try and do the right thing. Yeah. And I think eventually I was like, man, let me help other people kind of put themselves into a situation that might make life a little easier. Yeah. And if it's something that I can do to impact them in a positive way, then that will allow me to feel better about what I'm doing. Right. So like,
and with a lot of people that feels better than what you're doing for yourself.
Yeah.
The right people.
Yeah. And now there's plenty of selfish people out there that don't care about, but like, that's not how I operate. I don't know. I genuinely want to see people win, and I don't need anybody to fail for me to win. So why would I wish bad on somebody else? I just don't. I don't get that philosophy or that way of thinking. I really don't. But everybody's entitled to their own opinion, and there's nobody telling you that you're wrong for feeling somewhere. This is just how I am.
Yep. Love it. Well, that's why you've been able to figure this business out and produce at a high level. I think that's a huge part of it. You can't fake that either. Your clients know. Mm-hmm. As much as I'm sure you're entertaining and fun and all that, but they're like, they know you're genuine and you actually care about them. For sure. Or they're not going to let you help their family.
For sure.
You'd be the funniest guy in the world. You'd be Kevin Hart. But they don't like you. They don't feel you're genuine. It don't matter. They'll laugh your ass right out that door. Now, it all hasn't been sunshine and rainbows, right? You've gone through you had some debt at one point.
I did.
Yep. Over six figures.
I did.
Was that your debt or was it debt that rolled to you?
It was combined. So as I told you, like I left my previous employer to start a business. Yeah. Right. So I went all in, and I started hiring. I mean, I had hired like recruited like 5, 6, 7 people before I even got my license. Yeah. And I was looking for office space when I was just passed my state exam. I was all the way. Like I was like, I'm going all the way. Yeah. And within 3 months, we got up over $150,000 in production and got that VP tag and all that stuff. Got it. And I was like, man, that's pretty good. Yeah. And I was like, all right, let's keep going. So, it was at like that 250, 300 mark. I noticed that we had a high attrition rate on business, and I was like, man, there's something going on here. and we were losing a lot of business. I was like, dude, is this how it is? Like, do you lose this much business? It was like 35-40%. Like, we were falling off the list. I was like, something's not right.
Right.
And, you know, come to find out, I mean, there were some people that probably weren't doing business the most ethical way. And I just kind of figured it out. And we basically chopped it down and rebuilt the business. So basically, I went down from like 350 down to, or 350 families down to like 70 families, all within like a month and a half.
Yeah.
Well, needless to say, all that business that got chopped ended up coming back to us. So
rolls right up to you.
Yeah, between me and one of my business partner, Michael Terry, and one of my buddies.
Yeah.
That took the leap with me when I started the business. We took it across the head about 125,000, and
wow.
And, you know, that was a trying time at that point.
Yeah, what were you thinking then? Did you have any doubt?
I was just like, man, why didn't I know about this?
Yeah.
You know, like,
got it.
Unfortunately,
But you weren't doubting this, like, oh, man, I should have done this?
I quit 9 times in my head.
Really?
For sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
What made you stick around?
Pride.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to put it. Like, I didn't want to go back and ask for my job back. I didn't want to go back into times. I didn't want to fail.
It's a tough pill to swallow.
It was tough. Yeah, it was tough. And I just didn't want to fail. And I knew if I could get past that time of challenge, adversity, I knew if I could get on the other side, then there's probably greener pastures over on that other side.
Right.
If I could just get that sun to peak a little bit between the clouds, right? Like, I was just like, I saw one thing that we did during that time, which is a memorable time, is I remember my buddy Michael was we're in between appointments. We both got no-showed on our like 3 o'clock appointment. I'm in Chattanooga, Tennessee, about an hour and 45 minutes from where I lived. My last appointments are 8 p.m., right? So like I'm there all day. He's out. I think he's in North Carolina at this time. We're getting no-showed to death. It's just not a good day, right? Yeah. Everybody has bad days.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just not a good day. I mean, he calls me. He's like, hey, what are you doing? I was like, nothing. I'm sitting in a parking lot in a mall. He's like, wait, what happened? I said, I've been no-showed like 3 out of 5 appointments so far. He's like, oh, man, me too. So we're just talking. He's like, dude, I'm not going to lie. I'm on Indeed right now. I was like, oh, no, don't you do it. I was like, don't you do it. He was like, bro, this is just tough, man. This isn't going our way. I was like, dude, nobody said it was going to be easy, bro. I was like, me and you just need to go into the office tomorrow, book like 15, 20 appointments together, and then go run appointments just together and go have fun. We got to get back to having fun. This was over outside of a year in the business, and we were having debt pile up on us.
Yeah.
And that's what we did. We went in, we booked like 20 appointments, and we went and ran appointments in Chattanooga all day long, and we just went and had a good time.
Yeah.
Just had fun. Just got back to the basics, had fun.
How many families you guys sell?
Dude, we sold we sold quite a few.
Yeah.
We actually got no-showed at the board until like noon. So,
really? So it started off bad again.
It started out good, bro.
Oh, man.
Yeah, but then we started.
Like, here we go again.
I was like, oh, man, this isn't going to plan, right? But then that new appointment came, and then we started, and then show rate was picking up. And I remember, man, we hit our, like, I think it was like our 2 or 3 o'clock appointment. We were running behind on one deal, helping some family, and we were running late to our next one because we booked every hour.
Mm-hmm.
And in Chattanooga, it's spread out. So we had like 30, 45-minute car rides in between. So we're running behind. He's like, dude, should we skip this one and just go to the next one? Because we're already running into the next one. I was like, nah, let's just go. So we show up to this thing like 45 minutes late. Lady's still there. We just went in and had fun, man, and just got back to the basics. And I really think that really helped both of us at that moment. We just needed something to.
So it's kind of a turning point for you.
That was.
Yeah.
That was sort of a turning point because I was thinking about maybe I should do this, maybe I shouldn't do that. But I would just be like, shut up. You know, no, don't listen to that person. That's the naysayer wanting to get you to not pursue your dreams, right? And dude, anybody, how many trials and tribulations do they go through to get to that point? Mm-hmm. Like, how many times did that person fail to get to that point?
Right. Lot.
The biggest failure in the room, more than likely. So I kept reminding myself of that. I was like, dude, I'm just going through one of those failures, you know?
Yep.
Just gotta
you hear all kinds of stat, like they'll throw, Babe Ruth, most strikeouts, most home run at one point. Michael Jordan, most shots, most missed shots.
Yeah.
Like but you can't get there without failing, and you can't be afraid to fail because and it's not failure. The real failure is going on Indeed and find something else.
Yeah, and then hanging
and then tapping out. Or if you would have went back to timeshares, I got to imagine in your mind you would have felt like, I really failed at this.
I would have been like, I failed myself, I failed my family, I failed everything. Yep. And I would have been, I would have been tucking my tail between my legs and been like, you were right.
Yeah.
All those people that were like, oh, you're going to fail. Like, I'd walk away, hey, good luck, you're going to do great. he's gonna fail.
Right.
You know, I mean, seriously.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
I know I
believe
had
it.
best friends, and I
Yep.
won't mention names, that would probably talk all sorts of mess behind my back, like, oh, he's crazy.
Yep.
Like, why would he walk away from that?
Yep.
Yeah, he's insane. I mean, I
And then
remember
you know
when
what will happen if it hasn't happened already, Matt? Those same people, they'll start reaching out to you.
Oh, yeah.
You're going, hey, what is it that you're
what is
doing?
it you're doing?
Yeah. Oh, you mean the thing you told me I'd fail at? Oh, you want to do it now? But it will do.
Yeah.
It will happen.
Yeah, it's interesting, man. Like, yeah, I think it's really interesting how people are designed.
Yeah.
You know, and that's just how people are.
It's
I
just
mean,
human
me
nature, bro.
personally, I'm not like that, and it's hard for me to understand that, but I do understand that there are people like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's cool.
But you know, that day, that goes back to what we talk about so much here is riding that roller coaster. You know, it's so easy to ride. Either way, when you're up, everyone struggles with a different part of it. But riding those downs, man, can take you to a real dark place and make you that one day could overshadow any success you had prior, because here I am right now, like, oh God, this sucks so bad.
Yeah.
Not thinking like, yeah, dude, but last week you helped 20 families. The month
Yeah,
before, like,
yeah.
it's just one day.
Yeah.
It's it's Derek Jeter going on an over streak for a few games. He's
Yeah.
still going to end the year at 300.
career,
Dude.
yeah,
He's still
yeah,
going to
yeah,
do
yeah.
that, but
Yeah.
but it's hard when you're there.
Yeah, it is.
You know, it's a mindset thing. I remember one day going 0 for 10. And I was riding the highs because
Yeah.
I was closing everybody, man.
Yeah.
Had 10 appointments one day. Next day, I'm everyone. I'm calling Sean after every single appointment. By like the 5th or 6th one, he's like, he didn't even say hello anymore. He goes, "You closed something yet?" I said, "I just closed my door of the car." But I'm like, what do you? At this point, I'm laughing. I went from being so like annoyed
Yeah.
to like, God, what the hell am I gonna do? So I'm like, I was just laughing at it now.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you, dude. Nope, I didn't close. My last one I closed. Like,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
But you just got to
That's
stick
funny.
through it, dude. You know, the mindset's so big in this business.
That's what I try and remind everybody of, man. Like, man, you know, I promise you, if you just stick at it, there's no mystery to the fact that there's a lot of people that are doing okay.
Right.
So, like, if we can just like duplicate that, and you can just like manage these 6 inches between these ears, you can just manage that. We're gonna be okay.
Absolutely.
And I try and remind people of that all the time.
Yeah.
Because I think it's a blessing what we get to do.
Absolutely. Yep. Are you still in the home or are you virtual now?
We're all virtual.
Yeah.
Yeah, Telo.
How's that transition?
Yeah, great. Your reach
Really?
is just further.
Yeah.
Just get to talk to a lot more customers.
Yeah.
You know.
You miss being in the home at all?
No.
No? Really?
No.
Yeah.
No, I don't. I appreciate the in-home process. I appreciate what I did.
Yeah.
Because it gave me a greater appreciation for where we're trying to get to.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's all about the cloth that's cut, right? So
Right.
I think that's part of the pinstriping in the suit.
Yeah. Love it. Well, this is great stuff, man. I really appreciate you coming up doing this.
Yeah, of
I'd like
course.
to wrap up with a few questions that have nothing to do with life insurance,
Cool.
just
Yeah.
for fun. So I got a list of about 20 here. I'm going to throw a few at you. I know you're a music guy because of our conversation
I am,
prior.
yeah.
So let's see. I got a couple song ones here. If there was one song that you had to listen to for your entire life, what would it be?
God dang.
Yeah, that's the weird. So that's the hard one. These are the hardest questions you're going to be asked today, man.
One song.
Yep. You have an all-time favorite.
I do. You want it? You want it?
I want it.
A Millie.
Okay. There we go. I love that. We used to play that during our awards ceremony. So, you know,
Well,
hey,
you know, the song that I walked out to at convention was Started From the Bottom.
that's
by
right.
Drake.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
All right. Well, hey, next year I'm gonna play a Millie
Yeah,
when you're
put
getting
it
an
on
award.
there.
So,
Yeah. We'll see if I can add up to it.
what's a guilty pleasure song you listen to that you'd be embarrassed to
Oh,
share?
dude, I can't share that.
You have to. It's too tough.
Oh, man.
Someone said, I think it was Austin Jones said Miley Cyrus "Party in the USA." So
Dude,
you can't. Can you top that, Matt?
That's pretty bad, man. Party in the USA. Dude. I don't know. I mean, something because this is not my genre. Sweet Home Alabama. I like it.
Okay, that's
But
yeah.
I'm not. That's not my genre. I really just don't like country music.
I
And
hate it, dude.
Well, there you go. You took the
Yeah,
words out
I
of my mouth.
can't. Yeah, it literally makes my ears bleed.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, but I'll jam to a little Sweet Home.
Okay, there you go.
In
Love
my
it.
car. Yeah, my
There
wife
it
in there,
is.
I'll be like, turn the radio.
All right, next time you come, we're gonna be playing that
Yeah,
one. Last one. What's your favorite movie?
Dumb and Dumber.
Really? Dude, I love that movie.
I love it, man. It's the best.
Yep.
I've seen it 100,000 times. I love it.
Yep, that and Ace Ventura.
Oh, God, yeah. Oh, dude, I remember watching Ace Ventura in the movie theater with my parents. It was the best.
Yep.
Oh, that was the
hysterical.
best. Yeah.
Well, I really appreciate you doing this, coming up, taking the time out. Guys, thanks for tuning in, watching. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, share this with somebody else that you know it would help. Are you on social?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the best platform for them to find you at? Drop the handle for anyone looking to join your team.
Yeah. Matt at Horizon FFL.
Got it. All social platforms?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
Well, or Matthew Kakasi on Facebook.
There you go. Cool. Well, if you're looking to join Matt's team, if you don't work here already, reach out to him. But again, thanks again. Guys, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week on True Talk.